In this episode, the crew is threatened by a mystery cowgirl. Is she good? Is she evil? Is she sexy? She's definitely that last one.
Welcome to the journey. Welcome to the crew. We think we're pretty funny, and we hope that you will too. This is the opening song to season 2. It's where the journey really starts because we've made it out of East Blue. We've got our snacks and we've got our friends. Now it's time to discuss the anime that never ends. Yeah! Start the show!
Hello, fellow adventurers of the Grand Line, and welcome to episode 30 of King of the What Now, an anime where we discuss One Piece. With you, as always, is your host, Joel, who is a longtime fan. Also, I'm a mysterious cowboy with powers that you don't understand working for the criminal organization.
And I'm willing to die so that I can become the best Curtis ever.
Fantastic. You made a vow that someday you would be a Curtis, even if it meant risking your life.
Indeed.
Okay.
Oh, I'm here too.
Hello.
Hello.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
No, it's me, Kat. I'm here.
Absolutely.
They started the episode without me, so I don't have an introduction planned, but I'm here.
All right. We're going to edit one in, but you got to be quick. You got 20
I liked
seconds.
that. I thought it was funny.
Did? Okay,
Yeah.
so we're going to cut this part where I was going to say we'll cut the other
Leave it all in. It's all part of the episode. Everything's the episode.
Woo! Okay, sometimes I forget to mention it at the top of the episode. So today, we just finished watching episodes 66, 67, 68, and 69. If you're paying attention to arcs, that means that we finished up the Whiskey Peak arc, and we also got through the 2 little episode mini side story about Coby and Helmeppo.
It was riveting.
It was.
Actually, it wasn't that bad, to be honest.
See, it plays into the shonen tropes, and it didn't overstay its welcome. If we had 4 episodes, we'd be bored. But 2, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
The second one was better.
Okay. Do you want to give a little bit more detail than just episode numbers?
No.
All right, fantastic. So we'll just move on to who MVP is for these episodes.
Okay, I got this. Okay, so we're finishing up at Whiskey Peak, right?
Right.
Zoro agrees to protect the princess because Nami makes him.
Yes, there's a little bit of a debate, but Nami ends up winning.
Yeah. Luffy wakes up from his stupor.
Coma.
Yeah, his food coma. That's better. Everyone's knocked out, and he's like, "Why are you all knocked out?" And they're like, "That green-haired swordsman, he took us out." And he's upset because Zoro hurt the people who gave him food.
Sure.
How rude.
I know. So he and Zoro, they duke it out. Eventually, Nami puts an end to it. They also take out
Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine's Day.
Yeah, those ones. Thank you. We learn their powers. Mr. 5 can make parts of his body explode, including his snot. And Miss Valentine can make herself heavier and lighter. They defeat them. They save the princess.
Not just defeat them almost instantly. It's played for great laughs because Vivi is freaking out. She goes, "Oh no, any agents who are 5 or higher in the order, not the order, the Baroque works, they're very strong." And while Luffy and Zoro are fighting each other, they just casually take out these 2 members.
Yeah, there's a great scene where like they're arguing with each other, and in the meanwhile, Miss Valentine is monologuing in the background, and they're just ignoring her.
So good.
Yeah, so they save the princess, and then what's his face? The security chief. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's his name again?
Igaram?
Okay. Mm-hmm. Igaram's like, "Okay, I'm going to be a decoy. I'm going to leave the island." So he leaves the island.
Hold on. He dresses up in a fantastic and very convincing Vivi costume.
I was going to say on a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you think he pulled off the Vivi look?
Absolutely a 10.
Convincing, quote unquote. As convincing as a large man can be.
Oh yeah, I think he has like 1.5 feet on her, and I think he's twice as wide.
Yeah, no, I think in the anime he's twice as tall as her.
Yes.
Like, it's obnoxious height difference.
Well, not only that, but the reason that they have different colored hair is to help American audiences differentiate their characters. But he didn't have the blue hair, so I just don't know if I would have been convinced. Mm-hmm. But he gets on a ship, and tragedy befalls.
Yes. It explodes in like a nuclear explosion. It's a large explosion.
Yes.
And so then the rest of them run off, the Straw Hats. They grab Sanji and Usopp, who are sleeping.
Drag them by the feet and nose.
Yeah. So they get on the ship. They go to leave. And then as they're leaving, a mysterious stranger appears upon their ship, dressed as a cowgirl.
Mysterious stranger dressed as a cowgirl.
Yes, and we discover that she is Miss All Sunday, or is it Double Sunday?
All Sunday.
All Sunday. Okay. But yes, she is partners with Mr. Zero, the head of Baroque Works.
Whose name we got.
Yes.
Crocodile.
And
They're led by a reptile.
There you go. I think we suspected that it was going to be animals, is what we said in the last episode. Mm-hmm. Not only did we discover that it's a person named Crocodile, we discovered that they are another member of the 7 Warlords of the Sea. So now we have mentioned 3 of them, met Mihawk, but now we're going to meet, seems like we're on a crash course to meet the next one.
Yep.
And his former bounty was 80 million. If you're a person like me who cares about numbers, keep that tucked in the back of your head. That is 4 times higher than Arlong and more than twice as much as what Luffy's currently worth.
And so now the Straw Hats, they're headed to the reptile house at the local zoo so they can see the crocodile.
Just kidding. They're going to Little Garden, which we get the name of from the mysterious cowgirl.
Yes. And then she leaves on a giant turtle. Because
One Piece.
Yeah. At this point, we only get little filler pieces from the Straw Hat crew, and we switch over instead to Coby and everyone's favorite son, Helmeppo. That's it.
Yes, I knew you were gonna get it. Thank you.
Did you actually forget his name, or was that a bit?
Yeah, I was gonna say Yasop. I'm like, that's not him.
That's not anywhere close.
No. And then so I was like, his name is it's like Hippo. Helmeppo.
Good mnemonic technique.
Yes. So we see them. They are currently chore boys for the Navy, Marines, Navy people. Mm-hmm. At the same island that Axe-Hand Morgan used to be at. They leave on a crew that is taking Axe-Hand Morgan to give him to a vice-admiral because he has committed crimes, right?
Yes.
So the Axe-Hand Morgan tries to escape with Helmeppo as a hostage. Coby goes after him, and they try to take him, and then they get tossed back into the ocean, and Axe-Hand Morgan goes away. They get adopted by the vice-admiral who was supposed to take Axe-Hand Morgan, whose name is Vice-Admiral Garp.
Yes. His name is Vice-Admiral Garp, and he happens to be a vice-admiral. And his nickname is Vice-Admiral Garp the Fist, which Catherine is, she's very excitedly pumping her fist in the air, trying to telecommunicate that nickname.
I thought she was upset that I was glossing over the fighting.
Nah.
No. Anyway.
Catherine, would you like to gush a little bit about Garp and tell us a little bit about him?
He's such a good grandpa. He had a dog mask for a head. When he showed up, Curtis actually went, oh my god, it's a dog person. But no, he's just wearing a dog mask for some reason.
And what's it called? The masthead is also a dog holding a bone of his ship.
Yes.
So,
which is just beautiful. He seems to really enjoy children and animals, which I think is kind of subtle, but he adopted Coby and Helmeppo, and there's a couple of scenes of him sitting there while birds eat seeds off of his body.
Yeah.
So I really love Garp. I don't want to say anything else about him because maybe he comes back, maybe he doesn't, but he's cool.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to move on, but I
was just going to say, really, you can summarize these 2 episodes with Garp pretty, add the detail about Morgan. That's great. But really all this is a coming-of-age story for Coby and Helmeppo. Coby inspires Helmeppo to actually stand up to his dad. Helmeppo decides that he's going to fight his dad.
Yeah.
He shouts something about, I'll someday be a Marine that's capable of surpassing you. And they kind of go back and forth a little bit. They're a little afraid of the physical training, but they decide to do it anyway because it's the only way they'll advance. Helmeppo decides that he's going to run away, but then he doesn't want to get punched by Garp, and so he decides to rededicate himself to the training. So it all ends with these two basically 100% committed, mind, body, and soul to this whole Marine training. Garp knows their secret that they know and are friends with Monkey D. Luffy, but he's going to keep that safe. He's not going to tell anyone. And one last piece of information, Garp also has, I guess you'd call it like an attendant or assistant, someone of a lesser rank than him, but still high up in the Marines and Navy, who follows him around, who does not have a name in the manga I read on the wiki, but he does have a name. Apparently they name drop him in one of the episodes, and it's Bogart. Like, don't Bogart the chips, I guess, or something. But that might not be his official name, but he's the sour puss whose mouth is always turned like down in a frown and doesn't talk a lot.
Sour power.
That was a much more detailed explanation than I was going to give.
So, I have a question. Are we done summarizing the episodes?
Yeah.
I think that covers everything.
Back up just a little bit to before the Coby Helmeppo stuff. Igaram...
We're backing out.
Beep.
Yeah. Okay.
Igaram's death. First death you've seen, really, in the series. How do you feel about it? What do you think?
Is that the first death?
It's the first death in present tense, I believe.
Okay.
Everything else has been flashback.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I mean, it was definitely dramatic. And it obviously affected Luffy, because he was very upset with Cowgirl. That's her name for now. That's easier to say than All Sundays. And then it affected the princess, too, whose name I've forgotten.
Vivi.
How did you forget her name?
Wait, is it Vivi or Vivi?
Vivi. V-I-V-I.
Okay.
2 V's.
Vivi.
Yes. Okay, so that's her name.
Yes.
We were talking about...
Yeah. No, it was obviously a big deal. It came out of nowhere, too. It was very non-One Piece. It was all normal One Piece, like, kind of like... Even when One Piece gets dramatic, it still kind of got this happy feel to it. And then all of a sudden, it was like watching a documentary of a nuclear blast. It was like, everyone's like all serious, and the lighting and the coloration changes, and you're like, whoa.
Yep. And also, we've made this joke before, what time period does this take place in? That explosion, in my mind, is too big to be from, like, the time period that One Piece takes place in. It really seems like modern explosives were used, in my viewing experience. I'd say the scene was effective insofar as, like, holy crap, the stakes have been raised. We really haven't known Igaram long enough to really care. Even Vivi, who's very upset about the civil war that her country has been plunged into because of Baroque works, even her story doesn't feel that sympathetic because we literally met her about 3 episodes ago, and it's sad, but it's too abstract for me to really care at this point.
I think the most powerful thing about that scene really isn't like, oh no, this is a character we know and like and are attached to, and now they're dead. It's that feeling of like, oh, we have this hope. He's gonna go off and he's gonna be the decoy and everything's gonna be great. And as he's sailing away, he immediately explodes. Like, there's no build-up, there's no time to wonder what might happen. Your hope is just cut off.
It's very sudden.
I would also say it's interesting because the Mr. 8, Mr. 9, as well as Miss Wednesday and Miss Monday, there are 4 bounty hunters that are high-ranking in this group. They show up to attack the Straw Hats, and then Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine's Day show up, and then they fail, but then immediately the number 1 female officer in this group shows up and just blows it up. This is not the sort of criminal organization where you can kind of trick them and get away. No. They're already coming at you full force. They take all threats very seriously.
And also, like, they're a criminal organization, kind of. Like, they're really more of a revolutionary group, from my understanding.
Yeah, it's a big organization. They really mean business, and there's some legitimacy to them, but they speak really vaguely. They want to create a perfect nation? I don't know what that's about. Like, to you, Curtis, what would you describe as a perfect nation?
In One Piece?
No, what would you describe as your perfect nation? If you were to be the king, what would you need on your checklist in order to say, yep, this is everything I would ever need?
Trains. Curtis with
Planes and
trains.
automobiles.
Okay, fair
The
enough.
movie. That's all I need. That's all I need is just that one movie and maybe, like, a beer.
Okay.
A beer.
What about, like, women?
That'd be nice. That's like icing.
So this is so you can say that someone's a cheap date if you don't have to, like, you know, buy a lot of stuff in order to impress them. I think that you're the king version of a cheap date. Like, you're a very cheap country. It's very easy to meet your bare minimum standards for.
So what? Here's what happens, right?
Okay.
Like my chief advisors.
Uh-huh.
They're like, we want to run this country, but we don't want to have to deal with the hassle of assassination. And then they find out all we need to do is play this one movie for this guy, and he's you know, in heaven. So they just play that movie for me over and over again, and then I'm placated, and they can do whatever they want.
Perfect.
That is my perfect country. My citizens are living in hell, but I get to watch planes, trains, and automobiles
With a beer.
with a beer. A beer for my entire lifetime. Just that one beer, but it's a very big beer.
And occasionally women will drive by the window and, like, wave, but that's all the communication and interaction you need, because that's just the icing on the cake at that point.
Yeah.
What's your perfect country, Joel?
Well, I don't know. I imagine that a perfect country would be one where there's no fighting whatsoever and everyone's happy and there's no, like, upper class and middle class. Only so far as in a lot of situations you could say that classism can cause conflict. There's always people who want more. So I guess I'm describing, like, the picture perfect version of a socialist nation, but I don't know how likely that is, and I don't know how well you can do that if you get to that point by killing the former leaders. You know, if you kill everyone who disagrees with you, maybe theoretically you'll be in a perfect situation. Maybe you'll just be in a situation where you've now established that murder is the way to get what you want. I just don't think that it's sustainable.
At that point, you'd have to institute some sort of, like, yearly day when murder was acceptable.
Yes, exactly.
But Joel, if you kill everybody that disagrees with you, or you know, then who's gonna give you the one beer and the movie? Because it'll just be you.
That's true, absolutely. You find that one person in your life who just, you know, gets you on the same wavelength as you, and you live together happily until you have that one disagreement, and then you kill each other, and there's no one left in Alabasta.
So here's what you need to do, right?
Okay.
You need to build your kingdom up, like much like a house of cards, and you start slowly build up, but then things get more complicated, and you're trying to make sure it doesn't fall apart, and then eventually, you know, it turns out that you have some sort of sex scandal in the background, and you get kicked off the show.
Sure. All right. So
I'm sorry for that tangent.
I feel like we're all getting a little off topic, a little, we're getting away from the One Piece spirit. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a break. We're gonna go to our sponsor for this week. And then when we come back, we'll be back and ready to focus on the One Piece and the fighting and the awesome undertones that are present throughout these episodes. So let me ask you this. Has this ever happened to you? Have you ever been to the club and you want to have a good time? It's Friday evening, you have your date or you're with your friends and you really want to just cut loose, but you can't find the dancing spirit within you?
Yeah, you know, I'm at the club all the time, Joel.
Yeah, we anime nerds just constantly are out socializing all the time. But sometimes it's a little hard to get that energy, and so we have a special product today. It is dancing goo. You can rub it on you, you can rub it on your friends, you could rub it on whichever dancing service you prefer, and you can get your groove on. It comes in different colors, it comes in different textures, different viscosities, and it comes in different granularities, actually. Some of it's kind of grainy, like you're at a mineral scrub at a spa.
It's got like those microbeads.
It's like those microbeads, and some of them is like really, it feels like it's just water, you know? Maybe it is just water, but it gives you the courage to dance anyways.
Joel,
Yes.
it's not just water. It says on the back, it's not just water. It says, not just water, infused with pure dancing.
With pure dancing spirit, absolutely.
No, not dancing spirit, just dancing.
Okay, pure essence of dancing. Okay.
Yes, they took dancers mid-dance, and they broke them down.
Okay.
And then they mixed them with the water.
All right. Now, I believe that they sent you a cassette tape, of all things, with their jingle on it, and they asked you to listen to it a couple of times and then repeat it on mic for everyone.
Yeah. So, are you ready for this?
I might be. Let's see. Let's find out.
Okay, it's a short one, so that's okay, all right? All right, here we go. Come get your dancing goo, rub dancing goo all over you, da-da. It's your dancing goo.
I think that's good.
Dancing goo, you have to be at least 22.
Okay, so what I was going to say is I don't want to get copyright struck, but I guess that probably falls under fair use and parody, because that's not the original song.
You know, they went through another version of this jingle back when they were dancing Cream, and then that was a little too close.
Dancing Cream makes us scream. I'm sorry.
I think that would be Screaming Cream, which you can get with your Scream Tea. But we haven't been paid by the Scream Tea people to promote their product this week, so. All right, we're going to come back, and we're going to focus on my favorite 2 questions. 1, did any of this feel like filler? And 2, did any of this seem like it was foreshadowing or setting up something other than the term Little Garden, which was literal telling us what's going to happen in the next episode?
Yeah. So, first of all, to answer the filler thing, initially I thought the Helmeppo thing was filler. Then you reminded me there was such a thing as a cover arc, and that made more sense. One, because there was a couple episodes, and it kind of felt like the little buggy episodes. Mm-hmm. So similar, right? So otherwise, no filler. In terms of foreshadowing, we got some interesting tidbits about Alabasta, a current civil war, the investigation that Vivi's been doing and how she found Baroque Works. We found out a little bit about Baroque Works' motivation, supposedly, which we talked about briefly earlier. What else did we get? We got the crocodile name drop, which isn't really foreshadowing, but you know what I mean. Like, we know it's leading to somewhere. That's like setting up for future plots. Mm-hmm. So I guess that is foreshadowing. It's just not subtle. And then, we had the cowgirl, like, kind of hinting at we'll see her again.
Sure. And she had some weird power. We didn't go into that when we were doing the brief summary, but she showed up right after the ship was exploded, and I believe she just straight up said, "That was me," or at least insinuated. Right before the explosion, we saw a weird flash. Did you catch that, or did you miss it?
No, I saw it.
Yeah,
it was like a bunch of like white gloves.
Yeah, it was like several hands kind of like appearing and disappearing on the screen. And then we got a scene where Sanji had a gun, which is interesting because the people of the Straw Hat crew don't traditionally use firearms, but he had a gun pointed at her head. Usopp had his slingshot. Zoro had his swords drawn. And I don't think Nami did anything. Luffy is about ready to punch. And then all of a sudden, she just kind of smiles and goes, "What are you doing?" And all of a sudden, they just all get thrown back. So there's definitely something going on with her, and I think that Oda wanted to draw our attention to she's weird.
Yeah, and so she can apparently make things float. So, and we found out that's because she ate the noodle fruit.
Yes.
And as we know, Oda subscribes to the noodle theory. It's kind of like the string theory, but with noodles.
Okay.
And so she can just kind of like make things float by moving the noodles within them.
All right, so now I'm going to give you a little tiny hint that's not really going to help clarify anything. When we didn't know what Buggy's fruit power was, it appeared that he had the power to use the Force. There was someone standing a couple feet away from him who started floating up above in the air, and he couldn't breathe anymore. And later, we found out that he... detached his hand, grabbed the guy by the throat, and raised him up. So I will not disagree with what you saw. It definitely was like some kind of weird pushing. Although I don't think that when you find out what her powers are, I don't think you're going to go, oh, she has the power to push things. It's going to be something weird that...
Well, yeah, I know.
Okay.
It'll be weird. It'll be something strange. But for now, it's the noodle fruit.
Okay. I did also... I don't remember if we were recording, if this will make it into the Patreon content or anything like that, but I did also inform you matter-of-factly that you would never be able to guess what her devil fruit is named. There's absolutely no one who'd be able to figure it out, because there's no clues that relate to the actual name, and when you find out, you're going to be like, so she can... That's the fruit, and she can do that? Okay, I don't understand.
Is it the abstract fruit?
It's actually the soda fruit, and the thing is because she had just drank a cold, refreshing, non-brand drink, she was able to do some stuff. She was able to push people.
What? Maybe. Mm-hmm. It was the fruit.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the right number of fruit.
You have to make sure that you're saying it right in your head. Okay. So let's move on to the more generic, open-ended part of this episode. What did you like from these 4 episodes? Was there a stand-up moment or stand-up moments that you really enjoyed?
The big explosion was impactful. The fight between Luffy and Zoro, like that whole bit between their interactions and then Nami stepping in and that was great. That was
so
golden.
Perfect, yeah.
That was good, yeah. Good use of stupid Luffy. I feel like that's when he's at his best is when he has no clue what's going on.
I absolutely love. There's a part when Miss All Sunday has shown up, and they keep flip-flopping on whether she's a good person or a bad person, because she's like, I killed Igaram, and they're like, definitely a bad person, and then she's like, oh, I'll give you this thing that'll help you skip all of the problems, and they're like, is she a good person? And Luffy saying, I have no idea if she's good or bad, but she hurt Igaram, so I don't like her.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
Also I think the end of the training with Helmeppo and Coby, and then their brief fight with
with Garp on the beach.
Yes. Yeah, that was good.
That was very good. I like it's a trope that we've already seen before. People will probably be familiar with it, but the whole Helmeppo being like, why do you keep calling me your friend to Coby? And then Kobe's like, we're in this together. And then later in the next episode, it's, we're friends, aren't we? And Coby goes, yeah, you're right. And they're building each other up, even though initially they didn't have any reason to be friends. I enjoyed that.
Joel, I got a question for you this time. Okay. So the next island we're going to is a little garden, right?
Yep.
And we got a view of a tiger in the jungle, and the tiger's looking down at a giant footprint. It's bigger than the tiger is.
Sure.
So I got a question for you.
Okay.
Joel?
Yes?
Are there dinosaurs in One Piece?
But it was a human foot.
I know, but I told you I was going to ask if there were dinosaurs in One Piece, and now I'm asking, are there dinosaurs in One Piece?
I'm going to plead the fifth on
Joel.
that. I'm going to, yes?
Joel.
Yes.
Are there dinosaurs in One Piece?
There might be dinosaurs in One Piece.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. If there are dinosaurs in One Piece and you found that they were filler, how mad would you be?
If If they were only filler,
Yeah, they only exist in filler, and they were never going to exist in the main canon.
I'd be pretty pissed. Can
Yeah,
I say pissed
see?
on here? Are we allowed? Yeah, you
think
know what they
Luffy
say
said
it on.
that.
Yeah, okay, okay, that's our bar. So yes, I would be very pissed.
Yeah, see, I agree. I would rather have a show that was free of dinosaurs than have a show that had dinosaurs, but they don't exist in a meaningful way. I'd rather Luffy fight a T-Rex as the main bad guy.
Here's a
But-
third option.
'Kay.
What if we replaced this pirate anime with a show that was just about dinosaurs?
What would we call this show though?
It would be King of the Roar now?
Wait. So we're not replacing One Piece. We're replacing our podcast.
Oh, no, you mean what would we call the show?
Yes.
One Roar?
Would you say the piece in One Piece stands for pirate? Maybe
Yeah,
it
I
could
think
still
it
be
does.
called. Okay, it does.
It would still be called One Piece, but the One Piece would refer to the one asteroid that's coming to kill all of them.
Oh, no.
And they only have so long to destroy it. I like it.
That's a great anime, actually. Anime of the Year 2018. Moving on.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to go back really quick when you were talking about how much you loved the fight scene. I think it's great that Nami was the one who got that resolved.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that Luffy and Zoro ever would have stopped and talked about it and figured out what the miscommunication was. So her showing up, not only that, but also the animation, it showed Luffy and Zoro looking at each other and did that kind of stereotypical anime thing where it showed like an aura coming off of them.
yeah.
But then the screen goes black and you see Nami's eyes open kind of slowly, and there's something about that animation. I think they got a bigger budget for these episodes because the animation was great in places.
There were definitely places like, and it wasn't the whole episode, but there was a scene where they were talking, it was, when they were talking about like the Civil War and why the princess couldn't pay them and all of that, right?
Yep.
Where there were certain bits that were animated at a higher quality than we're used to. And I'm hoping that continues and we start seeing more and more of it and that the animation style gets better.
I agree. It is absolutely fantastic. Going back to Nami's eyes, not Nami's eyes, going back to the subject of eyes. If you're not watching this along with us at home, what's wrong with you? This show is great. I love the music and the animation and such.
If you're not watching this along with us, stop right now. Go watch. You've got 69 episodes plus a couple movies to watch. Go do it.
I'm not saying you have to watch every episode. Some of them.
I am.
Okay. Kurt
I've
is
done
putting
it
his
so
foot
far.
down.
If I can do it, you can do it too.
Now, in the podcast canon of our show, you were chained up for a couple of those. So if you need to chain yourself to the chair for the first couple until you decide that you love the show and Stockholm Syndrome kicks in, go ahead and do that.
Just make sure you give someone a key and tell them to check in on you in a certain amount of time. If you chain yourself up and don't have any means of getting out,
We're not liable.
No, we're not liable for that.
I think the best way to do it would be to get a phone app that you could say, unlock me in 48 hours, and then throw the phone on the other side of the house, and I think that's the best way that you can swing it.
Yeah.
Going back to the point that I was trying to make.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Is, hang on, if you're watching the show, if you're not watching this show, first off, watch the show. Second of all, most of the main characters have very simple eyes. Usopp just has, like, I think the regular black circles inside of white irises type of thing. Nami has circles, but it's only one color. There's no irises and stuff. Miss All Sunday, she has some mesmerizing eyes. She has eyes that are drawn. They look like normal people's eyes, and they're very bright colored. And I just gotta say, we got introduced to 3 ladies in these last 5 episodes, I want to say, between... Oh, sorry, 4. I don't want to be... we have Miss Monday, we have Miss Valentine's Day, we have Miss All Sunday, and we have Miss Vivi, Princess Vivi, who's also Miss Wednesday. And I think I'm in love with all of them. Because there's something great about... You've got the thighs of Miss 8, you've got those beautiful blue curls of Vivi, and you've got those piercing eyes from Miss All Sunday, and I guess you have the annoying laugh of Miss Valentine's Day. If you had to take some quality of hers.
So what you're saying is some of them are better than the others.
Some of them are more... Yes, I would say that.
Okay.
Anyways, I just wanted to... We were talking about things that we like from these episodes. I like the design of the mysterious cowgirl lady. Even though the aesthetic doesn't match, I think she has a strong entrance into the series.
Mr. Five is awesome.
Yeah?
I mean, other than the fact that he flicks boogers at people and they explode, he's awesome. I like him.
I like his hair a lot.
His hair's cool, his glasses are cool, his coat's cool, everything about him is cool.
His mannerism is cool. Like, he's a very, nothing ever rattles me. I'm very, calm and collected. I will say this. I think that the booger joke is kind of gross. I think the fact that they keep bringing it up is kind of gross. At the same time, given that his powers, I can make my body explode, I think that's the most interesting way he could use his powers. He found a way to turn into a long-range weapon when ordinarily it should be a close-range one.
I mean, he could also... It doesn't just have to be boogers. He could, like, spit at people or...
I guess that's true.
I feel like given the way that Oda is, and I mean no disrespect because we all love Oda-senpai in this house, but given the way that he is an actual literal 10-year-old, if boogers didn't come into the series here, we would have had boogers somewhere else and it could have been much more disgusting. So I'm glad they just explode and they don't turn into, like,
snakes.
A snot net. Snakes made of snot. Disgusting. Why would you do that?
That actually would be an interesting character for Fanfic Friday. Someone who constantly has two snakes coming out of their nostrils.
He ate the snake. No, the his fruit.
There you go.
He just has snakes. They come out of every orifice. It's horrible.
Fruit.
Yeah. Oh, and the ear snakes. He wouldn't be able to hear you at all, too. That would be the running joke.
Wait a second. Pull the snake out. Okay, quick, before the next one comes.
Before it regrows. I do think that, Oda doesn't usually reuse powers very often. But it would be interesting if you could take Mr. Five's bomb fruit, which I'd say is the bomb. But if you were to take his exploding powers and give it to Kuro's ability to move super fast, that would be incredibly dangerous to be able to run at that speed.
Because Kuro doesn't have a devil fruit, right?
Nope.
He's just fast.
He just trained himself like that.
There you go.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Exactly. Now, I do also have another question to ask, and feel free to take this as silly or as seriously as you want. Do you think we're going to see Morgan again in the short future, in the long future? Because he escaped. They didn't say that they went out and captured him.
I think we'll see him again, but it's going to be in, like, ridiculous roles.
Okay.
Like, it'll be like... They go into a ramen shop. One of the chefs is Axehand Morgan.
Axehand Morgan is constantly in the background of a bunch of different scenes, but he has increasingly ridiculous outfits.
Yeah.
In one, he just has like a mustache, but you can still see the metal jaw.
Yeah, and he's trying his best not to get noticed, but it's always Luffy that's interacting with him, and Luffy is always clueless.
Oh, Luffy's an idiot, exactly.
There's one time where the only difference is something's covering up the umlauts over the O on his chin. Everything else about him is the same. But Luffy doesn't know.
Sure.
He's like, no. Axehand Morgan, he had dots right there.
I feel like Axehand Morgan is going to have a very hard time being undercover because of the axe hand that he has, like...
Maybe he should replace it with, like, a hook.
There you go.
He could be... He's already a captain. He could be Captain Hook.
There you go.
We could have a Captain Hook, Joel.
Yes, we could. That is a visual thing that people associate with pirates.
So, you asked if Axehand Morgan came back again, and I was curious, so I was reading about it on the wiki. You know how we watched Django's Dance Carnival last week?
Yes.
In the manga version of Django's Dance Carnival, he's apparently seen just taking a nap in a boat in the ocean.
Huh.
At one point.
Interesting.
So, no spoilers as to whether he does come back or not, but I thought you would laugh at that.
Yeah, I knew that he attacked Helmeppo and took Helmeppo as hostage. I might have even mentioned on the podcast because I didn't know it was a serial cover issue. I do think it's interesting that we're getting actual episodes that are showing these serial covers because without giving away too many details, I skipped these 2 episodes, and then when you meet Garp in the main canon, I was just so confused as to who this was, and I'm glad that people aren't going to be lost so long as they actually do their homework and watch the episodes.
Yeah. Garp is awesome.
He's so good. He first shows up and he hasn't slept in 5 days, and everyone goes, wow, you work so hard. You're a dedicated member. And he goes, no, I'm just trying to set a record for most donuts eaten, and the sugar has kept me up, and it's caused some real problems, man. He's so goofy. How do you get to that rank in the Marines? And I don't understand. I will also say, sometimes we give away little hints of things that will happen later in the story. Garp is actually in the canon of the One Piece universe, in the history. He's an important figure that people know. He's a world famous name, and when he shows up again, he's going to get even more love because he is popular among the Marines.
Is that because he's a good boy?
It's because he's a very good boy. Who's a good boy, Garp? That's why they couldn't beat him, because they didn't try the tummy rub technique. Yeah. They were trying to take the ball out of the dog's mouth, and he was like, I want to play. Oh boy. Mm-hmm.
The one time they got close was when they punched him in the stomach because he thought he was going to get rubbed, yes. And then he didn't get rubbed.
Absolutely. I love it. Do you have any thoughts on how you would like to see Helmeppo and Coby and Garp show up in the future?
Well, it can't be a dance carnival because we've already done that.
I know that's the first place our mind always go to, but Oda thought ahead. He was like, you know what? I want to include a canon dance carnival, and
yeah, I know he ruined it. Really, I mean, it's too late now. It can't be a cooking competition because we've done that already.
Damn it!
You know what we haven't had yet, Joel?
What's that?
Martial arts tournament. It's going to be in a martial arts tournament. They're going to show up, and they're both going to get entered, and eventually they're going to make it to the final. They're going to have to fight each other, and Garp's going to be their trainer. He's going to be in the background, and then when they get to the final, he's not going to know what to do because he can't cheer for both of them. What's he supposed to do?
Is he going to do that thing from sitcoms where someone's on 2 dates with different people, and they keep changing their outfits? So he has one outfit that's like, I'm here to cheer for Helmeppo, but then he takes that off, and he's, I'm here to cheer for Coby.
Yeah.
Let me ask my question more specifically. How would you like Coby, Helmeppo, and Garp to show up in the canon in regards to the Straw Hats? Would Luffy be in this tournament of martial arts, or?
Oh, yeah, but then Luffy has to get to the finals, because, I mean, he can't not get to the finals. I guess if you want an actual canon thing, it's probably going to be, like, for example, with the Alabasta stuff, they'll get to the end, and then suddenly the Navy's like, okay, we've had enough of watching this civil war go on over here. We're going to step in and do something about it, right?
Okay.
And they would show up. That sort of thing.
So you think that Coby and Helmeppo would best be served as antagonists that are there to capture Luffy?
Well, I don't think they'd come for Luffy. They just happen to be there because they're trying to deal with the Alabasta Civil War.
Okay.
And then be like, oh, look, Luffy's here, too. Because there was a little bit, too, where Garf...
Garf?
It's Garf, right?
It's Garp.
Garp. Damn it. Okay. Garp knows that Coby is friends with Luffy, but is keeping it a secret because otherwise Coby would be kicked out of the Marines, right?
So Garp's going to use it as psychological manipulation. He's going to be like, Straw Hat, give yourself up or I'll kill the child.
No, I kind of get the feeling that some of the Marines are kind of cool with certain sets of pirates, right?
Okay.
Like, because Luffy's not the type that's out there, like, causing tons of havoc. I mean, he's kind of like chaotic good,
just
right?
normal amounts of havoc.
Yeah, like, he does some stuff, but he's not vindictive or nefarious, or like he's not. So I get the feeling that there's some of the Marines who I would say are like less hardline.
Okay.
Because, like, for example, Smoker kind of let him go ish, and then now we're seeing Garp kind of being like, okay, well, you're friends with a pirate. I don't care that much, right?
Okay.
So I have a feeling that it'll be kind of like well, as long as he's not doing anything bad, like, oh, I'll try to catch you, and then, oh, he got away.
Oh, darn, I had the cannon aimed at their ship. I could have shot the finishing blow, but, the darn fuse just wouldn't light. My bad. Mm-hmm. Okay, I really like that theory. I'm still waiting for him to hold Coby hostage, and then Helmeppo has to kill Garp, the only man to have shown him paternal love after his dad rejected him, and now he's become a rogue on the run from the Marines.
What if Helmeppo loses a hand?
Oh, that would be really good.
And then he wakes up from surgery, and now he has an axe hand. He's axe hand Helmeppo, which is harder to say.
Okay, I really like that. Do you have any final thoughts about these episodes? Any thoughts on where you want to see the Little Garden story go?
I'm not sure what to expect with Little Garden. I want to see more on the Alabasta stuff and more on that world building, and I have a feeling this is going to be a intermission from that.
It's going to be a slow burn type of thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, not necessarily that the next arc is going to be a slow burn, but that it's not going to address the Alabasta stuff. It's just going to be kind of like, it'll be like a side thing, right? Its own encapsulated thing that doesn't really tie to the larger Alabasta saga, is my expectation. But we'll see.
Absolutely. We do, Igaram said that you could go from one island to the next and you would get there in 2 or 3 islands. He's never gone himself. So we know that it's not going to be too long till we get to Alabasta, but it's not going to be the next stop on the journey. I absolutely love that. I love the little teaser that we got when it showed the giant footprint that you already mentioned. What I love about that is I'm pretty sure in the manga it was footprint and then next chapter they're on the island. So it was a more immediate callback. Yeah. It was a more immediate, but in the case of the anime, they decided to put 2 sort of filler episodes in immediately after that. So all the excitement that they built kind of dissolves as you spend some time with Coby and Helmeppo.
Yeah.
All right, folks, that'll just about do it for us for today. We are planning to watch another 4 episodes next time, so if you're following along, that's episode 70, 71, 72, and 73, the beginning of the Little Garden arc. I'm not sure how long it lasts, but we're definitely not going to get into the arc after that. It's definitely going to just be Little Garden next week. So,
Little Garden!
Woo! Have a great night, everyone. Official outro goes here.
Good night, everyone.
In this episode, we get some real interaction with Vice-Admiral Garp.
Garp.
So ends the next leg of the King of the What Now adventure. We're sad to see you go, but we'll be here next week. If you crave some social interaction with us in the meantime, you can find us on all sorts of different media. We have Gmail, Patreon, and Tumblr. All of those are King of the What Pod. King of the What Pod at gmail.com, patreon.com/kingofthewhatpod, kingofthewhatpod.tumblr.com. Our Twitter handlers are a little bit different. You can reach me at KOTWN_pod.
And you can contact me, Curtis, at Pirate Co-host. Also, please take a moment to rate and review our podcast on whatever platform you're using to listen. Not only will this help others find the podcast, but your constructive feedback will help us improve the show as we go.
Thanks so much for giving us a listen. Until next time, follow your dreams and protect your treasure.
Remember, it doesn't need to be literal treasure.